Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, April 5th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And then also for you Bitcoin traders, I will do a bonus Bitcoin analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, we'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. And right here, we are looking at ticker symbol CADL. And I don't mean to state the obvious, but I will anyways. What an absolute monster. Massive volume. And then not a single red candle. I'll say that again, not a single red candle throughout the entire day. And that in and of itself is really reason enough to have something on your watch list. Massive volume, big price movement, all green candles. And that, like I said, I could just drop it right there. And I'll add in some technical levels, but just from an idea of a watch list to find unique, interesting situations and not randomly rush out and buy stuff, but at least watch it, keep an eye on it. Like I said, it already meets that criteria for sure. But if you do like to play more so pullbacks, then an interesting potential pullback area right here at the $4.70 mark, change that to green for support. And then from a resistance standpoint, nothing fancy at all in terms of logic other than asking the question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at $7.65. So again, nothing fancy there logic-wise, other than that, just simply where the price stopped at that point. So all things considered, crazy movement today. We'll see how this one continues moving forward. Next one, NKLA, and pretty straightforward now that we have after today, because today's really kind of solidified a couple data points. First data point that I would say has really been solidified is this, broadly speaking, top part of the range right up here around that $1 mark, which I know I talked about previously. You can see that the price did come and get rejected by it right there, and then rejected both there. And then this is also corresponding with the rejection back here around the $1 mark. So that is the top part of what I am now drawing as a sideways channel pattern, with the bottom of the channel being right down there at the 88-cent mark. So really going forward now, because this is the third day now where the price essentially has been stuck in between this channel right here. So moving forward into Friday and next week, the question ultimately becomes, who's ultimately going to win this battle? Are the bulls going to win the battle with a break to the upside? Are the bears going to win the battle with a break to the downside? That is a big question mark moving forward. But as far as summarizing this relatively quickly, I would just call it a 30-minute sideways channel pattern. Next one, TCBP, and started off today very, very nicely. Gap up, opening 30 minutes right there, big green candle. And then from there, you can see essentially just rolled right back over. But now what makes it a little interesting is, seems as though the price is leveled out some. And to illustrate this more so, let's get in a little bit of a trend line right here. You can see slowly sloping downwards, and maybe I'm trying to fit a square peg through a round hole here, but you had that action right there. So a bit of a falling wedge pattern here. So let me change that to actually represent. Actually, I'm not even going to leave it because that's just going to create clutter, but I did want to map out kind of the pattern here. And now the price has broken up through that pattern, which leads to an interesting question. And that is this the start of something even bigger? Now, think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that if nothing worthwhile happens. But in this situation, something worthwhile has happened. This pattern has been broken to the upside. Now, to be fair, maybe not. Maybe this thing is just a fake break and it rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to make another run up towards those highs. So like I said, the breakout of this pattern has occurred. Is it the start of something bigger? Let's see how it plays out on Friday. Next one, PLTR, and very, very rough move, especially all things considered, especially from a day trading standpoint. Can you imagine? True story, there were some people buying right there. Hopefully they weren't day traders that got undisciplined, because you can see from there, quite the rollover back down, which really bleeds to two key areas of resistance. First level being the 200 period moving average, that pink line right there. You can see it ultimately served as resistance there. But before you really put any emphasis on that, price first needs to prove itself by breaking above the 50 period moving average right there, which you can see price broke below it, and then right there went into acting as a resistance. So those would be the two main areas if there is any sort of attempted bounce. But there's no doubt about it, a lot of downwards pressure has shown up. So let's map out a couple of these areas of support. The near-term level that you would definitely want to see hold strong right there at about 22.35. And the reason I say that is if the price were to fall down below that area, then all of a sudden it's essentially in this no man's land where the next level of support is not until all the way down there. Now, that's not to say that if the price breaks down there, it's automatically guaranteed going to drop down to that level. But my point is just like I said, it's essentially a little bit of a no man's land with the that level being not until down below the 21 basically 75-ish area. So keep an eye on 22.35. definitely very, very important. So because, from a long's perspective, that is, you don't want to see the price enter into that no man's land. Next one, AMC, and the sideways action continues. And I want to continue to watch this one because it is a cult stock, and cult stocks can make very, very big moves. And the more information you get that suggests maybe the selling pressure is done, the more possible it is that you get one of those good, even if it's just a dead cat bounce, who cares from a trading standpoint? That's all we need. And we have more data now that maybe, just maybe, the selling pressure is off because we have another day of essentially sideways action. Now, just because something goes sideways does not mean that it's done going down, but it becomes a whole lot more plausible that, okay, maybe the selling pressure is finally done, especially when this is now the second day in a row of essentially just going sideways. Now, if there is going to be any sort of, worthwhile upwards turnaround, public enemy number one, all about that purple line there, that 50 period moving average. But if it can break through there, then yeah, that could definitely trigger some more upside bouncing, get the cult members to buy some more. And, from a trading standpoint, that could create some good solid upwards pressure. So maybe this is some sort of bottom. We'll see what happens with it. But if the price does come down and break through 295, that would just symbolize that the bears not only are remaining in control, but are gaining that much more control. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Now, one special note, it is a live event. So a couple scenarios, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That's okay. Go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But if you can't make it live, then if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website itself, there's an area right there on the page you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up and I'll see you here in a few hours. If not, send me an email. Next one, ALUR, and good quality pattern here. So let's just get this pattern drawn into play. So we have the resistance part of the pattern right here. We have the support part of the pattern right there. And then just to make it easier to see, let's keep it one color here. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move right there. For you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up here and get the break up through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol ACB. And first off, big picture wise, if that's what you care about, you can see here the overall trend is very much so still in an overall uptrend. And then on the flip side of things, if you're some sort of day trader that bought up here and your plan was to buy and sell within 7.2 minutes, well then yeah, from that angle, things are looking pretty rough because there was that bigger pullback. Both in the grand scheme of things, yes, today the price did pull back. There's no doubt about that. But think about that word today, as in one day. If you care about the bigger picture, you're going to say, well, I care about more than just one day. So what was going on the previous days? And what was going on the previous days was this big upwards move right here, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. So like I said, maybe you don't care about the bull flag pattern if you're a day trader that bought right here. That's what makes my job a little tricky from a presentation standpoint, because I know there's lots of perspectives out there. But if you are somebody that cares about the general framework of things, then overall, you have a bull flag. Next one, TLRY, and I'm going to go through this very, very quickly because it's the same exact principle. Yes, today it did pull back, but assuming you care about more than just one day and you want to look at multiple days, you can see this big move upwards here. So we have, once again, another bull flag pattern. But ACB, TLRY, both of these are the marijuana stocks, so same sector. So it makes sense why they have the same general patterns. But I know both of them are very popular, but both of them, at the end of the day, have the bull flag pattern, assuming, again, you care about the general framework. Next one here, AMD, and I mean, unless you live under a rock, you know things got pretty shaky this afternoon, and that is no better illustrated than AMD here. Came down, broke through this area of support right here, and I mean, wow, did the floodgates open up. Now, did anybody know for sure that, a break of that level would open up the floodgates that amount? Of course not. But nonetheless, from a technical standpoint, it did break that support. So for anybody that played that breakdown, wow, congratulations. And on that note, that is going to be the first and main area of resistance if there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, right there around 174.75. As far as areas of support, as we're seeing here, having a squeeze down. In fact, I may need to go, I'm going to go to the 1 hour time frame here. That should be good enough. There we go. Oh, no, I lied. That's not. There we go. So now each of these candlesticks just represents 1 hour. I know it's hard to see, but that really illustrates just how long it's been since the price has been down around this range of the chart, with the next level of support right there around 164.50. And then if that level doesn't hold up, next key level of support after that, right down there around 161.60. But yeah, no doubt about it, today, brutal day. Now it's entering these areas that have not been seen for several weeks. So we'll see if this is an area that provides a bounce or what. But yeah, Friday looking like it's going to be pretty dramatic. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. So that is why this one went down in a hurry this afternoon. Just crazy, crazy movement. Down it went. And what makes this interesting now is more so, well, let me map out a couple of areas of resistance just in case there's any sort of attempted turnaround. And if there is, first key level will be right there around $59.10. But in my opinion, the more interesting dynamic is if this thing continues to drop, how is it going to behave at these next potential areas of support? Specifically, this support zone, as I would call it, from 57.50 down here to, let's see, what is that low? 57. Technically 57.06, but we'll just make it a little easier to remember. So basically a 50 cent, what I would call support zone down at this. Oh, you can't even see where that one is. Let me, there we go. So right here is that, like I said, support zone. And if the price is able to push down through those areas on Friday, really anytime in the foreseeable future, that'll just illustrate that the bears not only are still in control of this downwards move, but are gaining that much more power. But anyway, look at it. Brutal sell-off. Is it going to hold down around the support zone? Does it bounce? Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens on Friday. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second. But for you stock traders out there, like I said earlier, if you want to learn more about how to use this tool, then definitely go get signed up for that free live webinar. It'll be very soon, Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And again, if you can't make it live, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. One quick clarification here. We are no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We are looking at the 4-hour time frame. Given Bitcoin is open 24/7, I want this to remain relevant for as long as possible. And by using the 4-hour, it allows us to do that. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, you know the big story going in was, okay, we had this bear flag pattern. And as always, there are no guarantees. Just because something's bearish doesn't mean it's going down. And the bull showed up and said, we don't care about no bearish pattern. We are fighting upwards, and a very, very impressive movement back to the upside. So that bear pennant has now been brushed aside, and one of the levels that I would now consider an ideal level of support, by no means a do or die, but right there at the 67,000 mark. And the reason for that is if the price can stay above that area, it keeps it within this new range. In other words, if the price were to come down here and push down through that level, all of a sudden it's essentially right back inside of this range where it just was. I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine strength are going to progress forward. They're not going to go back to where they were. So that is why if the price can at least maintain above there and then curl upwards, what would you have in that situation? You'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. And if you envision those as stair-steps, you now have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction, which again is what you want a genuine, strong, bullish move to do. In terms of areas of resistance, yeah, you still have the 71,500 mark up there, but in the very near term, continue to watch that purple line there, that 50-period moving average. You can see price did get above it, could not maintain it, and then right there, tried to break it above again, could not break it. So that 50-period moving average remains the main near-term level of resistance. But all things considered, get a very good job from the bulls of smacking that bear pennant pattern to the side. And just I invited the stock traders, I also want to invite you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader, because what you learn about in this free webinar can and definitely should be used for the world of crypto also. So it'll be, like I said, Thursday, April 4th this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead and send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording. So thanks for watching. And I should note that because it's live, it's first got to happen. Then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send you that link. But if you enjoy these top 10 videos, hit that like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today. Did you get smoked with the sell-off? Did you make a bunch of money with that sell-off? Did you make money that Bitcoin bounce? Let me know down in the comment section, and go get signed up for that webinar or send me an email.